I'm looking at both of you, so I'm not going to be looking right at the camera the entire time. So it'll be like you or you.
Okay.
Like, hey, how you doing? No. Hi, everybody. This is Dustin here from the Rewatch Recap, and this is the next episode of Previously On. On today's episode, I have two guests from one podcast, Sass-n-Sips. We have Lisa and we have Agnes. How are you doing, ladies?
Good,
We're
thank
doing
you.
great.
That's awesome. Again, we're recording this on the Sunday before it premieres, so unknowingly what's going to happen between now and then, just keep that in mind. But for the most part, it's just about TV. It's just TV talk, right? So let's just talk TV. I really wanted to do this because I wanted to have a little more water cooler talk. You know, we didn't use that went away for the longest time. And now even that phrase seems really old, even though there's still water coolers. They're still around. Water cooler talk came from the weekly episode drops. And then we had streaming take over where it was nothing but just binge. So those talks didn't happen. You might have said, have you seen that? Yeah, I liked it a lot. You know, and that's about it. So, and then you stop talking about that show because you watched it all already, right? So they're coming back into fashion now. You know, more streamers or even dropping things week to week. I think people are finally going, all right, we've forgotten about these shows because we watched them too fast. So let's stretch it out a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I know, I'm just rambling at this point. So anyway, so right now, what are you two rewatching? So what was to start with, Lisa?
So I went back to the beginning of The Simpsons and Saturday Night Live. And then
Oh,
because
okay.
I am part neurotic, I have made I made a list so that the seasons line up by year. So like let's say it's 1998, SNL was on this season and The Simpsons was on this season. So as I rewatch, the jokes make more sense because it's like what was happening.
You're in that era.
Yes, it's exactly that. So this is what was happening in the world. Oh, that's why they're making these jokes.
I get
And
what you're saying.
then-
Yeah, I was doing that kind of with some things, and I'm catching up on something, and it's just kind of like I'm on episode 5 of this one. I want to be on episode 5 of this one, like because they're around that, you know, they're
Yeah.
releasing the same night anyway, so I might as well watch them, you know, because you never know. Yes. Maybe they'll talk about the other one. You don't know.
Yeah,
Especially with crossovers.
Yeah,
A lot of
I
shows
don't
in
think they will
crossovers.
cross, but you never know. You know.
I also just finished rewatching the first and second season of White Lotus so that I can watch a third season because I was like, oh my god, it's finally coming out with a third season.
Yeah, that show's
And,
nuts.
But like good nuts. It's like go to the White Lotus where everybody goes to blow up their life, basically. Should be the
And find a
tagline
dead
for
body
that
at some
hotel.
point.
Yeah. And
You don't look like you've ever watched that, have you, Agnes?
No, I haven't.
no.
You
But
probably
it sounds
should.
like fun.
Oh, it's crazy. And it's like, and what's funny is that each season gets one episode longer than the season before it.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah. So, like, the first season was 6 episodes, and each episode is a day at this resort. And so the next season was 7, and this season it's going to be 8. It's
Okay.
weird.
Yeah. And then I had started watching Call the Midwife years ago. And then so I finally picked that back up. I started from the beginning again because I was like, I don't
Gotta
remember
refresh.
everything. And then, of course, there's always just the usual sitcoms. You can see my Dunder Mifflin t-shirt. That's the good old favorite. But yeah, it's,
Awesome.
Friends, Frasier, Golden Girls, The Office, things like that I like to rewatch.
All the goodies.
And Law and Order. Those are like the ones that I lay in bed and I'm like, okay, I feel good now.
I can do this now. What about you, Agnes? What have you been rewatching lately?
I have intentionally rewatching House of Cards.
Oh.
I figured, with the political climate, when I first watched it, I think it was like maybe the last season or the season before the end. It was so good for a minute. I think a good like 5 minutes into watching it, I'm like, oh wait, this is a TV show. It's not a real debate. And they're just so true to real life and the conflict and the intrigue and the drama and the backstabbing. I'm like, oh, this is our government. Nice. But and then unintentionally rather, I'm making up words. I like to watch Bones again. And I like to
Okay.
watch like Law and Order, the shows that I need to turn my brain off. I
Mhm.
put those shows on because
Right.
I already seen them 600 billion times. And I could probably act out each episode by myself. So those are comfort shows. Those are my chicken soup TV shows.
Oh, that's sweet. Oh, well, but I, the whole point of like rewatching things is it's not the whole point, but like you also will just randomly you like, was I even paying attention the last time? Because I'm just discovering either they said this or something happened in it that I just didn't notice before, and that's
And
always
also
fun
you
to
can
do.
put it into context to the bigger picture, because
Hmm.
once you know the resolution, the clues make more sense. You're like, oh, I see what they did there. You get like moments like that.
Like the
Awesome.
Easter eggs after the fact.
Right,
Hmm.
right. Well, it's like I was telling a friend the other day because I was on their show. I had been rewatching Roseanne and the Connors. Like I kind of went ahead and rewatched Connors again first, and then I went back and I didn't really rewatch all of Roseanne, but I got into season 10, which is the season they had before it became the Connors. And I was talking to her. I was like, I rewatched the original run of Roseanne, the first 9 seasons, excuse me. And how in the last season everybody knows it went crazy because they won the lottery and then it just didn't feel like the show anymore. And well, when I go back and I watch it knowing the outcome of it, the final episode, if you don't pay attention to season 10 where everything was erased,
Right.
you go, oh, okay, this makes more sense of why this is so wild and weird. And it makes it funnier. Sometimes it kind of opens you up if you go back.
Yeah.
It's kind of like watching the final seasons of Friends, and you're like, and those are blah. But then you watch it now, I'm like, these were actually kind of funny.
That last episode of Roseanne, the series finale, I cannot watch that episode without tearing up. And so
Mm,
I'll watch any other episode of that show any day of the week, but if you put that series finale on, I'm like, yeah, I'm leaving, goodbye. When she
yeah,
starts
it
going
is. It's
around the
really
table,
sad.
like spoiler alert, when she
Yeah.
starts going around the table at the end and everything starts going back,
And she looks
like,
over at the empty chair where Dan would have been, and you're like,
oh,
oh,
that's the part right there. I'm like, I'm done. Pick up my tears, make a river, just I'm done.
what were you going to say, Agnes? You were going to say something.
Oh, regarding going back, you rewatch it. You don't have that whole die hard fan feelings towards the series when you go
Mm-hmm.
back. You're able to watch it just to enjoy it and then pick up different things. I find
Be
when
more
you're
objective.
right, when you're watching it as it's airing, you're like, I want X, Y, and Z. I want this to end this way, and this has to go this way because this is where I've been bred. You guys train me to watch it this way. Don't switch it up on me. It's painful. I'm a binger. So I was like, okay, here we go. So no spoilers.
Oh, I won't give you spoilers. I don't do that. I don't do it. And if I post anything online, it's very vague. Like I can't believe that happened, and that's about it. Like I don't tell you
Cool.
what, that kind of thing. And if you want to know if we want to talk about it, we can talk about it in the comments. Just don't go into the comments because you might see the
Okay.
spoilers. But
Bet. Got you. No comments. Okay.
I'm all about like if you want to talk about it, great. Just say, hey, look, can you believe last night's episode of blah blah blah? Spoilers and comments, and then you go into the comments and you start talking about your views on it. Like, but don't let that be the first thing I see.
Yeah.
Is the spoiler.
Right. Well, like crows, we will not forget.
It will. If you mention it once, it's locked in. And I'm like, thanks for ruining that for me.
Yeah. I love going
I have
into
limited
things
brain
without even
space.
seeing the trailer.
Yeah.
Don't tell me anything. Just say, you're going to like this show, give it a shot. I'll watch.
I'll watch a trailer, but I won't watch it like multiple times. Because I mean, I'll be familiar with it, and it's a lot of flashing of scenes, and I have no context for it, so I might forget a lot of that.
Yeah.
But when I have context for like the actor or the just the idea in general, I'm going to remember it. What about new to you? It could be a brand new show. It could be something that's been out for a while that you're just now starting to get into.
So there is the show that we're doing on our podcast this season, which is new to both of us. It's
Again,
called
that's Sass-n-Sips.
Reunion.
Look up Sass-n-Sips.
Yeah. And someone we know gave us the recommendation, and it came out in, I think, 2005, but it got canceled 9 episodes in. And they've only made, I believe, 13 episodes. So we don't even know if we're going to get a resolution or anything after the season. So even though our podcast is like rewatch, one of us has seen, one of us hasn't, we wanted to shake things up a little bit. So this is a watch for both of us.
All fresh watch, yeah.
Yeah. What else am I watching? Will Trent is a good show.
I keep hearing that, and I've liked the guy who's in it. He's been quite a few things actually.
Ramon Rodriguez.
I think he played a bad guy, though.
I can see that.
He's not a good guy, but he's a handsome guy. But
oh yes,
that's kind of like I also, which was kind of, it just finished, and you might have seen it since you watch Will Trent, which means you watch ABC stuff. Have you seen High Potential?
High Potential.
High Potential. Thank you.
Yes.
I have.
I was thinking of like the foreign name, which is High Potential Intellectual, and I'd taken out the potential part.
Yes.
I am I can't wait to next season. I'm addicted. I'm hooked.
The finale, they did the cliffhanger thing, and
complete mind. I was like, ooh,
woo.
So I started watching Elsbeth.
Oh, I started watching her on the plane
because I remember her character when she was in The Good Wife. So I'm like, okay, I love The Good Wife, but I never watched
Do you know who that is?
Wait, so I'm starting back with The Good Fight along with Elspeth. Totally hooked. Love her. I want to be her. I want to be cool and quirky.
She was also one of the. Did you ever see My Best Friend's Wedding?
100 years ago, yeah.
Okay. Do you remember? They were kind of a bit part, but they had the slutty like sisters or the slutty cousins, and they kind of look like twins. They kind of dress alike. She was one of them.
Vaguely. Oh, okay. Now I got to go back and watch it again.
And then the other one was what's her face, who was in 6 Feet Under, who was Rachel Griffiths. That's her name, Rachel Griffiths. Yeah, they're the cousins. They're the slutty cousins. And then one of them gets their mouth stuck on the statue, the ice sculpture of the David.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember like vaguely the scene, but I couldn't even tell you who the people were in that scene. Okay.
But they sing the backup when Rupert Everett's singing, the moment I wake up, the whole say a little prayer for you.
Yes.
They're the backup singers.
Now as soon as we're done with this, Lisa, I'm going to rewatch the show. I'm going to rewatch the movie.
It's so funny when you go back and you like rewatch something like way later and you're like, they were in this? Like,
yeah, right.
That's what we're having the same thing when we're watching the reunion, the latest show, and it's a couple of actors. I'm like, oh my God, they were babies. Like, if I would have watched the show then and then watched them in their new shows, I probably still never have connected it.
Mm-mm.
But to watch these actors once they're in their prime and then they go back 10, 15 years, you're like, wait, what? They didn't have a mustache. Oh my God, you still have milk in your breath. Like it's cute. It's like, look how famous you are now. Like I feel like a proud mama. Yes, exactly.
That's awesome. I'm trying to think. So my things that I've been watching new lately is I'm getting caught back up because I just got Peacock again for the first time in a while because I wanted to watch a lot of the Saturday Night Live 50th stuff and I just haven't been able to. And I don't catch it live because I'm old now and I go to bed too early.
Same.
I just don't do it. So I wanted to watch the 50th anniversary special. I'd seen a little bit of the concert and then I wanted to get caught up on some of the episodes I've missed this year so far. So there's that. But I also started watching, since I got Peacock, St. Dennis Medical.
I did watch
and what's the other one? I watched the new Reba McEntire show, Happy's Place.
Oh, my husband watches
that. That's on my list.
It's cute. If you like Reba, or especially if you like Reba, because the woman who played Barbara Jean is in this as well.
That's why it's on
And
my list because they both were in there. I'm like, okay, I got to see this.
she still plays kind of an airheaded character, but she's not as dumb as Barbara Jean, you know.
Okay.
But there's an episode where she meets a guy at the dog park. And Reba's like, "You don't have a dog." She was like, "You don't have to have one. I checked." And and so she meets this guy, and they've been like seeing each other off and on for a few months. And he shows up, and it's Steve Howie, who played Van on Reba.
Yeah, that's
And
cute.
it was the Christmas episode, so it was called Ho Ho Howie. And so he's in it, and I was like, oh, it was like a little Reba reunion, and it was cute. But it's a cute little show. It's not like great, but I'm watching it mainly in like spirit of my mom because she loved Reba. So I'm just kind of like watching because I know my mom would want to watch it, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I do really like St. Denis Medical. I'm kind of over the whole, hey, let's make a comedy and make it documentary style. I'm kind of getting over that because we do that too much now.
Yeah.
I get how it's easier to do certain things and have little cutaways and it's, you know, easier that way. But I really do miss traditional multi-camera studio audience sitcoms, you know, and we're not getting those as much anymore, which is why we have Happy's Place that has that. But we're not getting as many of those anymore. We're getting a lot of the single camera faux documentary comedies. And they still call them sitcoms, and I still don't feel like they should be called sitcoms. It's a half-hour comedy. There's a difference.
Yeah.
You know, a sitcom to me has a studio audience. That's just how I feel.
Right. I mean, it's like there is a situation and it is a comedy. But for those of us who grew up with sitcoms, it doesn't feel the same. I get that.
Yeah, it's like calling The Good Place a sitcom. That's not a sitcom because there's some drama in it. You know what I mean? There's a little bit like a philosophy. There's things that make you think as well. It doesn't feel sitcom-y to me because it's an ongoing story. The whole show is the situation. So I don't think you could.
That's
so
a good
like a sitcom to me is like that episode is that situation and this situation, you know.
Everything
it can live alone.
Right.
In 30 minutes.
Each episode, yes, and they can live alone. You don't have to follow a timeline to understand it. Yeah, okay. I feel you on that one.
You know how we go.
I feel you, homie. Be here.
You feel me, Lou? All right. Okay, so what are you looking forward to coming out soon? Any shows or anything that you're going, oh man, I can't wait for that. It didn't even have to be like next month. It could be like a year from now. You've heard about it and you want to watch it, you know.
It was something on my list and I don't remember it.
Well, I can tell you, I'll start with me then while you guys are thinking. So I am a big fan of Doctor Who. Okay. I'm not like a fanatic, but I have, like, somebody gave me the DVD sets and stuff, and they rebooted it on Disney Plus with Ncuti Gatwa. I don't know if you know who that is. He was in Sex Education. It's great. If you have Disney Plus, I recommend watching the Doctor Who specials, at least the first 4, and then you watch the series, and then there's another special that comes after that. So you don't want to watch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because it's going to jump, you know.
Like he does. It's just gonna jump. Okay.
It's just gonna jump. Yeah. But it's really good and it's fun. But the next season, they just actually put out a trailer for it and it's coming out in April. And I'm like, oh, this looks a little more high stakes than last season. Last season was more like fun and like, this is silly, this is weird. It's not like it usually is. And the next one looks a little bit more like traditional Doctor Who, a little bit more sci-fi involved, but then they'll have like anniversary specials where other doctors will come back somehow and they'll all fight together and do stuff together. And then those doctors will go away and it goes back to the current doctor. And they explain it all away.
Slayer.
A little bit.
Kind of like the Slayer.
Well, I mean, because this one's like more of a time travel element, but but yeah, I'm looking forward to the new Buffy. Hopefully that comes out soon. I mean, hopefully they get made. And I really want them to base it off of the Next Generation like YA series that came out by Kendara Blake. Those are really good if you've ever read those books.
I really think they need to like call you and get some this is what we should do. It's called consulting work, and you make buco bucks.
I would not disagree with that. I would totally let that happen, and my life would be happy.
I think that's the
mistake,
right? Complete. Is that they hire all these people to say, let's do this. And they never ask
the fans.
Right. The people who sit here week after week, watching and discussing. We
Well,
are the
what bothers
audience.
me is like, so right now on the rewatch recap, I don't know if did you guys grow up with Ghost Rider at all?
I did. Are you kidding? Do you know how
Okay.
many times I wanted to write on my hand, rally, and
And have like all your friends gather? Yeah.
I mean, also the show was set in Fort Greene, Brooklyn, which was like two neighborhoods over from us. So
Awesome.
we were, well, I was like all up in it.
But they remade it on Apple TV Plus. And so the concept of Ghost Rider is there's a ghost that these kids meet that only they can see. He can take whatever words or letters that are nearby and rearrange them to say something else. So he can talk to you. And you have to write back to him. He can't hear you. He cannot see you. He can feel you. That's how he knows where you are. But that's it. And they solve mysteries around the neighborhood with like clues, written clues, and that's the whole thing. It's kind of like it kind of had like a Hardy Boys Nancy Drew vibe, but with like a
Casper.
ghost.
Okay.
With Casper that no one can see, kind of thing. Yeah,
Like a little dot.
it's a little ball,
Yeah.
little lines over it, and it floats around, and it does
Okay.
it's some fun little graphics, But now they remade it on Apple Plus, and it's, hey, there's this ghost, and he's mischievous, and he brings characters out of books that we got to put back in the books.
Oh.
Yeah, not the same thing
No,
at all.
no.
Very
No,
disappointing.
that's disappointing. Yeah.
It's very much I'm like, no. And the thing that makes me mad is kind of like what you were saying. They're like, oh, we want to bring fans who like that. The thing is, that guy proclaimed himself, I'm a big fan. I grew up with Ghost Rider. I wanted to. I was like, then why did you want to change it?
Yeah.
If you're such a big fan, why did you want to change the concept?
Make it relevant for 2025, 2024, whatever. But
Right.
keep
Ghost
the
Rider can be in
concept.
texts and stuff, and because they did
That'd be
computers.
cool.
He would get
I
into the
could-
computer and they would type to him on the computer too. But
I could co-sign that, but
yeah,
this is a totally different. Okay, that's.
But this
disappointing.
I'm hoping that one stops. I think it has stopped. I don't think they renewed it. And I'm hoping that it dies away a little bit, and then we can bring back like some of the original cast members and their kids kind of get involved.
That would be cool.
That would be neat. Just kind of have
And
a little bit of a throwback.
It's like we never seem to learn our lesson. Every time there's a remake or reboot or whatever, and then they veer away from the original, it's like, yeah, you can market it to the newer generation, the kids who are at that age, because they don't really know any better.
Right.
But the rest of us who grew up watching these shows get excited and are like, we want to share that with our kids. We want to watch it for nostalgia's sake. We want to enjoy it. And then we sit down and we watch it and we're like, why are the Animaniacs yellow? Why are they in Texas? Why are they pulling characters out of the book? That's not He-Man. Like, every single time they do a reboot, we're like, yes, let's do it. And then you sit down and you're like, what the f*** is this? Like, sorry, I don't know if I can curse, but
you are preaching to the choir. That's fine. I can believe you.
Yeah. It's like, and every single time we're like, why did they do that? And we all get up and get angry and then don't watch. And then we're like, okay, cool. The next one comes along and it's the same thing.
Oh my gosh.
We never learn our lesson.
Give me a break. Give me something to grasp onto. You're killing me, Smalls.
Yeah, exactly. It's a violation. Don't do that. Don't tell me you love the show or love the books or the original source material and then completely change them. It's just drives me nuts. There's actually a new show coming out. It's going to be on Hulu. Mid-Century Modern. That's what it's called.
Oh.
And it's about a group of, it's supposed to be the gay Golden Girls.
Oh.
So it's like middle-aged gay guys. It's 3 middle-aged gay guys and then one of their moms. And they all live together. And it's Nathan Lane and Matt Bomer.
Oh.
And who else is in it? Nathan Lane,
I'm
Matt
already
Bomer.
in.
The mother is Linda Lavin, who's
my God.
great.
Wait, didn't she just pass?
Linda Lavin?
Okay.
She did just pass. So
Yeah,
they're probably
that's
going to write that into the show. I think they filmed it all before she did because
I
it
was
looks
like,
like she passed in
okay.
December. So
Yeah, it was just recently.
Yeah,
it's being lauded as the gay Golden Girls. So
I mean,
I'm in.
we'll
you
see.
can't go wrong. You can.
No.
Right. Oh, it comes out at the end of March, actually. March 28th. Friday, March 28th. So, okay, we're going to wrap it up here, but I wanted to ask you guys if you want to tell everybody about Sass-n-Sips and where they can find you.
Sass-n-Sips is a rewatch podcast. We break down TV shows from the perspective of one has seen it, thinks the other one should watch. And we drink. And we get silly. And you can find us at sass-n-sips.com.
This has been Lisa and Agnes from Sass-n-Sips. They are really fun. I've been on their show before. I think I'm going to be on it again pretty soon. So make sure you check them out. And thank you for watching along with us. Stay tuned for more Rewatch Recap episodes to come. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.